What's up, all my movie loving maniacs? This your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and today I'm going to take a moment to talk about Meet the Parents because I decided to basically marathon the Meet the Parents trilogy because of the anniversary of Meet the Fockers. So I said, you know what, let me run it back on Meet the Parents, which I did go back and rewatch and reviewed back in 2020 for its 20th anniversary. But anyways, let's review. So Meet the Parents is about Greg Fokker, played by Ben Stiller. He wants to propose to his fiancee, Pam, played by Terry Apollo. But before doing so, he goes to Pam's sister's wedding over the weekend, so he figures this is the perfect opportunity to basically ask her father's hand in marriage, and her father, played by Robert De Niro. But he basically spends the entire weekend going through absolute hell with this man and trying to convince him why he's perfect for his daughter. Now, Meet the Parents, it's one of my favorite comedies of all time, a classic comedy, I might say. I actually remember my aunt and uncle taking me, my older sister, and my cousins out to the theater to go see The Grinch, and I remember I was scared walking out of that movie. And then, but my uncle, he wanted to sneak into another movie, so we all snuck into Meet the Parents, and I remember watching this and thinking this was very funny, and then eventually I went back and watched it multiple times over the years, and I still think it's funny, as well as the sequel, Meet the Fockers. Little Fockers, we'll get to that. But needless to say, I still think this is still one of the funniest comedies 24 years later. Because, like I said, the absolute core of this movie is just a man going through absolute hell trying to impress his future father in law. And I really mean it. Robert De Niro, Robert De Niro's character, Jack Burns, he is one of the absolute worst people to try to impress because he likes cats. Then Ben Stiller, they all lose the cat, and then Ben Stiller, he finds the cat, but it only has a tip, so he spray paints it just to impress Jax until they find the real Mr. Jinx. This man puts Greg on a lie detector test, gets mistakenly accused of being a pothead, so now he's under Jack's radar. The dinner scene was one of the funniest scenes in the movie, but definitely his first round of going under the ringer of Jack Burns. Doesn't even understand why Greg doesn't like cats. Starts to get compared to Pam's ex-fiance, played by Owen Wilson. He makes fun of him for being a nurse. But of course, there's things that Greg does accidentally, like accidentally gives Pam's sister, the bride, a black eye. But there are some things that Greg does on his own by mistake, like accidentally gives Pam's sister, the bride, a black eye via volleyball. He accidentally sets Owen Wilson's character, the altar, on fire that Owen Wilson actually built. And then towards the end of the movie where shit really does hits the fan and then everybody starts to turn on Greg and then Greg leaves. But it's all worth it at the end when Greg, which to me is my favorite scene in the movie, is when he's on the plane, he's going off on that stewardess on the plane, claiming that there's a bomb on the plane, and then now Greg is detained. And quick side note, it is also revealed that Greg's actual name is Gaylord and Fokker. But Jack comes to the rescue and they basically come to an understanding about each other and Greg proposes. So everything that Greg went through in that movie was definitely worth it just for that scene alone. However, this movie is also a great opportunity to play the movie's villain or the antagonist, who they try to play as like the movie's antagonist, and the actual villain, which is Pamela Burns, Greg's soon to be fiance. Now, like I said, he's the movie's villain, and in all intents and purposes, he really was, because, like I just explained, he put Greg through absolute hell in that movie. He was just uptight for no reason. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being an overprotective father. There's nothing wrong with having high standards for your daughter in terms of who she decides to marry. But this man, he was just on a whole other level that was just unnecessary. And even at the end of the movie, when they're coming to an understanding about each other, Greg, he tells him, like, I love your daughter more than anything, but I'm terrified of being your son-in-law. This whole weekend has given me a lot of doubts about whether or not I could even survive in your family. I think you got serious issues. And then, of course, Jack, he does agree that he'll lighten up a little bit. He admits, like, yeah, maybe I was doing a bit much. But as horrible as he was not the worst one. It was Pam, because at the moment she got there, it's like she just abandoned Greg and just disregarded him. She has a little secret handshake going with her father. She didn't even tell him about her previous fiance and admitted like it was just sexual. She never really stood up for him at times, like when everybody was coming at him because he's a nurse. She volunteered him to even go look for the cat when it went missing when he didn't even ask to. And towards the end of the movie, where everybody started to turn on Greg after they realized that it wasn't the right cat and he messed the wedding dress and everything up, and even the altar. Now, granted, she did come around at the end when she realized like everything Greg went through in this weekend was just to impress her dad, just so that he can propose to her. She did come around at the end. She realized like she was in the wrong for some things. But at the same time, if I was Greg, I would have left her a long time ago. Now, despite all of that, this is still a comedy classic in my eyes that I always love revisiting. And because of that, I'm gonna give Meet the Parents the heart eyes emoji. But that's it for the day. Have you seen Meet the Parents? If so, let me know what you think is the funniest scene in the movie. Let me know in the comment section below. This your boy Thankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.